hereby announcing my campaign for re-election because I like doing it here at the Randolph Democrats barbecue. 8 years ago today, I announced right here for my first campaign for town council, after coming back from the anti-Trump rally on the Boston Common, in my funny outfit, wearing all sorts of pins and buttons, and I came straight here to Sandy's barbecue and announced my first campaign, and I hope lots of others do too. I'm now an incumbent, and my campaign is based on getting a fair share for Randolph. What I mean by that is all of our neighboring towns are very good at getting resources for their towns. Randolph has been somewhat reluctant to get resources from the state and federal sources. When I brought this up for the first time 8 years ago, people said, oh, we get every grant we're eligible for. Since then, we have been involved with 3 new programs for grants. Not 3 new grants, 3 new programs that make us eligible for 12 grants each that I was instrumental in getting. That's the Gateway City grants, the Open Space and Recreation grants, and the Green Community grants. We'll be getting our first Green Community grant in Randolph this year for, I think, something a little over $100,000 for fulfilling our survey, and more to follow after that. I think now people are starting to say, okay, maybe it's true that we didn't get every grant that we could have. That's what I want to focus on, is making us more eligible for more grants in the future.
Who is doing the grant writing?
The grant writing, I did, Sandy is recalling that I called for a town grant writer years ago.
I remember.
We never quite got a town grant writer, but we have a lot of departmental grant writers. There's one for the schools, one for each department basically, and our new assistant town manager, which I also pushed to create that position and fill it, is doing a lot of grant work as well. She was instrumental in getting us done with the Green Community grant, which I believe I brought up here at this barbecue 4 years ago for the first time to get us involved. And so you know the story on that. Randolph is one of the last communities on the South Shore to be involved with the Green Community grants. It is, let's see, it passed the town council preliminary vote a couple weeks ago, and we'll have the final vote in a few weeks, and then we are officially a Green Community member, along with 9 out of 10 communities on the South Shore and 9 out of 10 communities across the Commonwealth. My pet peeve for this year is the street paving, and I call this a success story. When I go and knock on people's doors, which that's my hobby, is knocking on people's doors, the thing that people tell me the most is, I've been here in Randolph for 30 years and they've never repaved my street. And I brought that up at town council for years and years now, and well, they finally listened. Last year, we had $4 million in the town budget, that's the capital budget, for the purpose of repaving. It was traditionally $1 million. I always said we should double it and redouble it. We did. Now it's $4 million a year. The vote is Monday, 2 days from today, to approve the $4 million for next year. When it came up in the capital budget as a flat line from last year, I said, I'm not going to say a word because it's exactly what I wanted and have been asking for years. And it passed the preliminary vote 2 weeks ago. It'll pass the final vote on Monday, assuming nobody questions it. We now have a ongoing $4 million a year for street paving. That means all of those potholes across town, which would have taken 20 years to get to or 30 years to get to, well, look, it's going to take 4 or 5 years, but at least there's hope on the horizon that we can actually pave our streets rather than just dream about the day 2 decades hence when we pave our streets. And that's my flyer called Let's Pave Our Streets. I hand this out at every door on every beat-up street in town. There are a lot of beat-up streets in town. And people say at their door when I give them this flyer, I've been here 30 years and they've never repaved my street. And I said, I quote someone saying that right on my flyer, which I do, and then they love it, and I hope they vote for me. And that's my whole campaign speech. Thank you.